What's happening, everyone? I don't really want to debate velocity because I feel it's kind of an irrelevant point, but I've noticed on YouTube and articles I've read and different forum pages that I've read, and I've been reading a lot of pages since I started getting revolvers because I want to learn as much about them as I can. And it seems to me that people get very, very hung up on numbers. Really, really hung up on numbers. Now, I'm not going to deny that a higher velocity is better. It is. I mean, the faster it goes, the more damage it's going to do, and I get that. But I think that people just put too much stock into velocity. Now, I've seen people say, or heard them say in videos, that they wouldn't want to carry anything that goes less than 1,400 to 1,600 feet per second. I read one comment somewhere where a guy said, anything under 1,600 feet a second, he's not going to carry. Alright, well, more power to you. And I'm not here to tell people how to do shit. I just want to discuss this because when you're talking about feet per second, that's not really, it's kind of hard to relate that to anything when you're just talking about feet per second. Because all you know is the higher the number, the faster it goes. So I wondered, how fast is 1,000 feet per second? So I did the math, and 1,000 feet per second is 681 miles an hour, which is fucking fast, man. That's really, really, really fast. You know, I checked, I think it was 1,400 feet per second. It's about 925 miles an hour. And, I mean, that's a substantial difference. But again, 681 miles for a little lead slug to come flying at you is pretty damn fast. I mean, imagine if you could pick up a rock or a marble and throw it at somebody. Come on. At 681 miles an hour, it's going to do some serious damage to that person. So, I don't really see why people put so much stock in it. I mean, again, I don't think people ever figure the number of miles per hour, but 681 miles an hour is pretty damn fast. I don't see how that couldn't get the job done. Now, again, faster. Alright, I will say it's better. I'm sure it is. But, you know, I carry 38 Special all the time. I have my Tauruses, but I don't usually carry them. But I carry 38s all the time, and they're not the fastest round in the world. But I feel perfectly safe with it. I got no problem with it. But I just want to talk about that and let people realize, you know, you take 1,000 times 60 seconds times 60 minutes and divide it by 5,280, which is the number of feet in a mile, and you get how fast the bullet's moving. And of course it is not, you know, it's only going to go so far, but while it's moving, that's pretty fast. So I don't know. I think that the velocity numbers, I mean, they never seem, it seems as though from everything I've seen online that the velocity of a bullet never actually goes as fast as advertised on a box. Now they're probably shooting those from a rifle so they get the highest velocity possible and then marketing it as though all guns are going to shoot at that speed. Snub noses are not going to shoot them as fast as a longer barrel, especially on a rifle, because the rifle, you know, more barrel length it has to go down, the faster it's going to get spinning. So I just think that velocity is a marketing technique that people use to try to sell their product, because people look at it and go, well, this is 400 feet per second faster, so I'm going to go with this over this other round that only does, you know, 1,000 feet per second. So I don't know. I just don't understand it. But I just want to address that because I don't think people realize how fast 1,000 feet per second really is. It's really quick. I mean, imagine driving 681 feet or 681 miles an hour. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's close to breaking the sound barrier. I think it's like 800 something miles an hour is the sound barrier. So I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. Now, another thing that I want to just bring up real quick is why. Maybe this is something I just am ignorant to. I don't know. But I hear a lot of people talking about over-penetration. They're worried about over-penetration. They want the round to hit hard as fast as possible. They want to, 1,800 feet a second if possible. They want to hit, expand, and then all of a sudden stop within a distance about that big, Now, I don't get that one either. What is the problem with over-penetration? I mean, if you blow a hole all the way through somebody, it's going to do more damage than if it stops halfway into them. You shoot someone in the lung, in the lung with those .357 Buffalo bore, those 180 grain flat nose lead slugs. And I imagine being flat like that, it's going to start to flatten out a little bit as it's hitting. I mean, I just bore a hole right through you, and just whatever it touches, it's going to take with it out the backside. Now, some of the arguments I've seen, people say, well, there could be, you know, you don't want to over-penetrate and hit somebody behind the person that you're shooting at. Well, if there's a crowd of people behind the person you're trying to shoot, why the hell would you open fire on that person anyways? I mean, unless they're like no more than 5 feet away from you, maybe 10 feet at most. Or unless you're just a really great shot. Because if I'm 20 feet away from somebody and there's a whole crowd of people behind them, there's no way I'm going to shoot at them. Because knowing my luck, I'd end up missing and hitting somebody else that's trying to get out of there or whatever. And I'll end up going to jail for accidentally, you know, hurting or possibly even killing somebody else or some kid because I decided to, you know, take the law in my own hands and shoot at somebody with a crowd of people standing behind them. So I don't really see myself ever shooting at somebody that has a crowd of people behind them to begin with. So again, I don't understand what overpenetration, what the problem is with that, because I don't know, I couldn't see myself shooting at somebody unless they're right there in front of me. And even then, I still don't want the round to go through the person and hit somebody else behind them. You know, so I don't know. If somebody understands this, fill me in the comment section, because I just don't get it. It doesn't, I mean, I hear people say, well, you know, dead men don't talk, you know. It's like you have to shoot somebody, they want them to be dead so they can't testify in court or whatever. Well, then when you want to just blow a hole all the way through them, because that would more likely seem that it's going to kill the person than if it just went in and stopped. So I don't know. Again, I mean, people can, if they want to be worried about it, be worried about it. I'm just saying I don't understand it, because I would never shoot at a person with a crowd behind them. And if I have to shoot somebody, I want to do as much damage as possible. I don't want to stop halfway through. You know, it's weird that people, they want as fast a round as possible. It's going to hit as hard as possible, but they don't want it to go all the way through. I'm no rocket scientist, but don't you think you would want a slower, less powerful caliber if that's your goal, is for it to not go through them? I don't know, it's just me. It's just me, I guess, but I just don't understand those two subjects, the velocity and the overpenetration. Another one that's really ridiculous to me is the caliber debate too. I mean, hell, all rounds could kill somebody. I mean, I'm not a big fan of 22s. I don't even like shooting 22s at the range. It's boring. It's like shooting a pellet gun. I can shoot that out my back door. But, you know, I mean, I always like to shoot bigger rounds at the range, just because ever since I was a kid, I mean, like I said before, I was shooting 44 Magnums years before I could drive a car. And I loved it. 45s, 357s. I had a blast shooting that stuff. When I was a little kid, I was probably about 13, I asked my dad if I could shoot this high-powered hunting rifle, and it about put me on my ass, but it was fun. I liked it. But the caliber thing, I mean, so many people just talk so much shit about different calibers. And it's like, dude, I mean, really any round is better than nothing. And, I mean, 22s, I don't know. I mean, I know there's people that argue for them, and I'm not going to argue against them, because it's still a gun and it's still a bullet. But I don't know, it's just kind of iffy. I mean, plus it could ricochet inside somebody, shoot out and fly in some odd direction too, and possibly hit somebody. But I mean, I would personally prefer to carry at least a 38. That's about as low as I want to go. I know 380s will do just fine too, but I just don't really, I don't know, my own personal preference. But I don't shit on the other calibers just because I don't want to carry it. There's nothing wrong with a 380 or a 22 or a 25 auto. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's like people that carry only 45, which, more power to you. Shit, I love a 45. I want a 1911 bad. But there's nothing wrong with any other caliber. They're all fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't understand why people spend so much energy and effort debating the abilities and the power of all these different calibers when it's all the same shit. I mean, they're all going to cause damage. They're all going to hurt, quite possibly kill. But what's more important than caliber Or even capacity. That's another one people argue all the time. Well, I gotta have 50 rounds. Why? Not really 50, but I'm just exaggerating for effect here. But, you know, a 21 round gun. What the fuck do you need 21 rounds for? I mean, really. Again, unless you're expecting a Hollywood shootout, chances are it's overkill. Now, again, if people want to do it, I'm not gonna shit on them. Go for it. That's your thing. Do it. In fact, I want less people to like revolvers because the price of these things has skyrocketed in the last few years because revolvers are making a comeback. So, by all means, go out and buy as many Glocks and other semi-autos as you can because I want the price of these to drop so I can buy more of them. But, velocity, the caliber, and the capacity, people are so hung up on these. But really, shot placement is far more important, you know. You shoot somebody in the foot with a 44, or you shoot somebody in the face with a 380, the 380 is probably going to get the kill shot. But, situational awareness, like I said before, you can't move your ass. Situational awareness is far more important. People, I mean, I see phone zombies all the time. People that are just walking down the street, just pay no attention to what's going on around them. They do in their cars like crazy. I don't want to get on that rant. I'm going to make a separate rant about assholes driving down the road, doing all kind of stupid shit, but people are just so lost in their own little worlds these days that they don't really just pay any attention to what's going on around them. And again, see, I've always been able to feel vibes off of people, so I've always assumed that other people feel the same shit, but I don't think that everybody does. I mean, there's been, I don't know, really, there's everybody I've met, everybody I see, people that walk past the store, I feel vibes off of everybody. I don't even have to speak to them. And there's a lot of people, I can tell you stuff about the person without ever hearing a word out of their mouth, just from the vibes that I feel. And paying attention to what's going on around you is far more important. What had happened to me one time is, you know what, before I start, let me check my pizza. Alright, my food's almost ready, so I gotta make this quick, but, long story short, long time ago, I was, like, 19, up in Chicago, blew out 2 tires on the passenger side, because I hit this median, because I missed my turn, didn't see this gigantic, like, not a curved curb, it was a straight up and down curb, and just rocked it, just blew out both the tires. So I ended up on Lakeshore Drive with 2 flat tires and only 1 spare at about midnight on a Sunday night. Now, I was sitting there with this girl I was dating at the time, and back then I didn't pay attention to anything going on around me, ever. And I'm sitting there with this girl, we're hanging out, talking, and we've been dating for like 6-8 months, so we're just hanging out, waiting. I had to call my dad and get him to wake up on a work night and come all the way up to Chicago and come pick me up. But we're sitting there, and for, I don't know how long it was probably a couple hours before finally, passing on the other side of Lakeshore Drive, I see my dad go by. I was like, alright, cool. Cat, come here. And so, I'm like, alright, cool, we're about to, you lay down, bro. So, I'm like, alright, cool, we're about to get out of here. And never noticed this until my dad started to pull up. I could tell because I seen, you know, headlights coming up behind me and somebody get over. I didn't realize there was a car sitting behind me with their headlight, with all their lights off, with 4 dudes in it. And as soon as my dad pulled up, they just drove off. Lights off and everything, so you couldn't really see the license plate. And I had no idea they were there. I don't know how long they were there. I don't know what their intentions were. I was there with this girl. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that could have happened, and I'm sure they weren't pulled over to try to help us out. I'm pretty positive of that. But that night changed my life forever. From that moment on, I have always paid attention to everything going on around me. It doesn't matter where I'm at or who's around, even if there's nobody around. I'm always watching, looking over my shoulder, keep an eye on everybody, watching how people are acting, feeling the vibes in the room. You know, if I start to feel tension in a room, I just, you know, that tense vibe, I just get up and leave if I have to, if I feel the need to. Or move at least to a different part of the building or room or whatever. But that one night changed my life forever. And ever since, I'm always paying attention to what's going on. And that's a good way to be. because you might see something coming before it happens, and that right there might be the difference in, you know, going home that night of your ass. And in that situation, your caliber and your capacity are going to make no difference, nor velocity or anything else. You know, like I said, if somebody comes up and sticks a gun in your belly and says, give me all your money, there's not much you can do about it, at least not until they turn around and start, you know, running away. But you better hope they don't want to just shoot you anyways, just so you can't identify them. Now, like I say, if you can see something coming or something suspicious going on, you got your hand on your gun and you're ready for anything that comes up, and you see somebody with just staring at you or whatever, I mean, how you could, you know, just pull your shirt up and show them your gun, that might be enough to scare them off. But pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. That is the most important thing. That and your shot placement, you know. I can't stress those two enough, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about that online, ever. You know, sometimes shot placement, but never do I hear people talk about situational awareness. It is crucial. And not just with guns and being held up or assaulted or whatever. Driving down the road. Situational awareness is huge. People got to get off their phones. Facebook and Twitter and shit, that ain't that important, man. I can't tell you how many people have almost slammed into me because they're too busy on their fucking phone. Or riding my ass, which I'm convinced now that people ride each other's ass. I mean, I thought about this forever. And I think the reason people just constantly ride each other's asses is so that when they're doing this, they can see your taillights in their peripheral vision so they know if they need to stop or not. And dude, I don't want somebody riding my ass that's paying attention, let alone somebody that's doing this the whole time. But they do it constantly. But it's very good to be aware, not just of what's in front of you or what's behind you, but what all the way around you, what's going on, especially on a highway. And anytime on a highway, I can tell you what every single car everywhere around me is doing. And I usually can predict people's moves, whether they're going to change lanes without signaling or, you know, sit there going slow as it can be. And then when I decide to go past them, it's like I know they're going to come over. For some reason, I still try to pass them anyways, but I can't tell you how many accidents I've avoided on the highway because I'm paying attention to everybody. So I don't know, man, it's just me, but I just thought I'd put it out there for people to think about. Remember, 1,000 feet, 681 miles an hour. I don't see how that couldn't do the trick. So, until next time, bye-bye.